Welcome back to the Bethany Sports Beat. I'm Don Westphal, athletic director here at Bethany, and as we continue our stroll through the preseason fall previews here, we are actually going to talk to Daniel Mundahl men's golf team, who actually has bested our preview sense of things. I already have a couple of meets underway here as we're doing our taping. So Daniel, with the short season you guys have in golf, 2 meets, you're almost a quarter of the way through your entire schedule already. You guys always end, early in October with that conference meet. That's just the nature of collegiate golf. It happens, and it happens quick, and it happens fast. And I suppose as a coach, probably one of the tougher things you have to deal with is just trying to make some of those adjustments when everything is so compact.
Well, it's hugely compact, Don. Like you mentioned, we're 25% done, and the hard part becomes, as I told my players the other day, the season's within 8 weeks when they move in on campus, and the fall portion's over, and we pick it up around in the spring. So it moves quickly for us. It's unlike different sports where you can try to figure out what's the best chemistry and adjustment. I don't have that great of flexibility, so practice time becomes important. How they do both on and off the course makes a big difference in who plays.
Yeah, of course, men's golf here in the past couple of years traditionally been one of the top teams in the UMAC conference. Last year, finishing up as the conference runner-up, and the year before that, taking the team all the way to the national tournament down in North Carolina. But if you look at this year's roster, almost a complete overhaul. A lot of new faces, new freshmen on the team. A really robust roster of 10 players on the team, but so many new faces on there. How many days did it take you just to kind of acclimate and put names together with faces and stuff like that?
It's difficult, Don. With 7 new freshmen on the team out of 10, and figuring out where do they best fit and how they gel together, I will have to admit, with all the practices and different activities we've done as team building, the team has really gelled well together. Everybody has chipped in and played the role and understand the role that they need. And picked up, I'm going to say, the opportunity knowing that they can start a 4-year career here and that they're on the ground floor. They know they need to work on some things and get some little things accomplished. We sort of started out slow, but it isn't how you start, it's how you finish. And the team's goal, like everything besides winning every match, is winning the conference tournament and getting back to the national tournament.
As we talked about the roster, you mentioned again 7 new faces, freshmen on the team this year, but it's nice to have somewhat of an anchor, someone there, stability, and certainly senior Andy Aukus provides that to you and some of that leadership that you need to count on.
It was huge. Yesterday was a perfect example at the UMAC preview. Andy came in with the second lowest score of the day. As the captain, he's taken a personal interest in a lot of the players, has spent time out in the range with them individually, working on some things to make them better. Leadership is huge, and setting the example. Andy's done a wonderful job for that for me on the team, and the guys are picking up on it. But the guys also know that they need to listen and chip in themselves, because when you're dealing with 7 freshmen, it becomes a new flavor. We used to be what I would call senior-laden or experience-laden team. We're not this year. Yet, a lot of those people have been captains on their team, have been to subsections, sectional, and state tournaments as well. So they have experience in knowing what does it take to be that leader and contributor in it, which I think has helped Andy, but helped the team as a whole to grow.
As you work with some of these new players coming in, really for them, what's the biggest transition coming out of the high school setting here to the collegiate? Is it simply the length of the course obviously gets longer? Is it necessarily the slope or the rating of some of the courses? Is some of it just the pressure of now being a collegiate, the focus that they see as a collegiate athlete versus maybe what they had in the high school level? Or maybe all the above?
I was going to say, in a multiple choice test,
Okay.
I'd pick number E, all of the above. The courses are much longer than they played at the high school level. Slope ratings are much more difficulty. A little more pressure because in high school you may have been the star player in the team in some of the schools you play with because everybody comes out. Well, everybody on everybody's golf team within the conference we're star players on the team, so the level of competition ratchets it up. I know in our first match a number of people were very nervous out the gate. Even our senior was nervous because they know it's a big year. It's his last year and stepping out of the gate and making things work. And so, that transition, and in college it's your elective choice to show up to class. Where high school, a lot of things are more formulated. Because of the different class schedules, everybody has to be more flexible in their time and coming to practices and making the commitment. And it isn't like traveling to your local course here for half of your matches. Our closest match is an hour and a half away, so we're on the road all the time, in a sense of the word. And so getting acclimated to that, studying ahead of time, and preparing to know that, hey, it isn't a par 4 350 yards, it's a par 4 450 yards, and it's a different type of mentality and approach to the program. But the guys are really stepping up to the plate. They understand that. We've gone around and played a number of courses that we're going to play this year, and we've been concentrating on a number of different drills to get them better. And the funny part of it is they know what they need to improve upon. And so they're taking the initiative, which is a blessing for a coach. Sometimes you get a coach and players on the team, you have to hold their hand and spell it out. I don't have to do that with this team this year, which makes my job easier so I can keep the broader perspective with a roster of 10 people and 70 freshmen.
And as we've talked about the compressed schedule here, really in a month, you'll be in that conference tournament with the automatic qualifier out there. Obviously, Bethany figures to be part of that mix as far as a team logistically who's got a shot for the conference championship. Crown obviously should be in that mix as well after their championship run a year ago. Who else besides Bethany and Crown figures to be kind of contending for that top spot in the UMAC?
A quiet team this year that has recruited several new people on board would be the University of Northwestern. They've got several new freshmen coming through the door. They came in second place in yesterday's UMAC tournament. Some players who in their first term of the year shot 75 when they played against North Central. The low man person yesterday in the preview was from the College of St. Scholastica. Unfortunately for College of St. Scholastica yesterday, they had a DQ after the first hole, and so they were down to the 4 players. So does their score reflective of what their potentiality was? Because it basically affected I think their number 4th player that was brought out of the deal. And so their new school was happy to see how well Superior, if not having a program for years, has brought some people on board. And so it's a tighter group. There's not as much spread as there was before, but Crown, us, North Central, probably the next one in the mix shortly thereafter is, I would say, College of St. Scholastica. Even Martin Luther College has some talent on their team that, if everybody keeps bringing their A game, everybody's going to get pushed within the conference.
Very good. Well, we would imagine the Vikings will continue to bring that A game.
Oh, yeah.
Some of those freshmen will be more seasoned, and then a month from now, again, back up in Alexandria, it'll be the conference tournament. I believe the 8th through the 10th up in October back at Alexandria. And again, the winner of that one will be moving on to the national tournament in the spring this year in New York, and let's hope the Vikings are part of that mix. Thank you very much, Coach Mundahl.
You're entirely welcome, Don.
Again, Daniel Mundahl, men's golf coach here at Bethany. I'm Don Westfall, the Director of Athletics, reminding you that you've been watching the Bethany Sports Group.